My dear elders, mothers, sisters, millennials, and comrades and supporters, Adab. I am bringing for you Altaf Bhai's important and thought-provoking tweet on the latest situation of Pakistan and passing of a bill by the Standing Committee of National Assembly in support of Army. This is today's tweet dated 9th April 2021 on Friday. The tweet is here. A bill passed by the Standing Committee of the National Assembly of Pakistan in support of the Army. Prime Minister is silent on this and summon an advice to the people. In his so-called bombastic address, rather sermon, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan Niazi, has said that in the state of Medina, which he talks too much about, justice would be equal for all. He vows that he is determined to transform Pakistan into a truly state of Medina where rule of Muhammadan law will be on top, and as quoted Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as saying that even his daughter Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha was caught red-handed stealing something. He, Muhammad, peace be upon him, would also not spare her for that crime. He said in his bombastic address that the reasons the nations of the past were destroyed were double standard, as those nations had one law for the elite and another for the poor. He said that his government would establish a system of uniform law of justice. Dear readers and listeners, now put your hand on your heart and think according to your conscience, and also consider how big a liar and a cunning person Imran Khan Niazi is, as he with perfect tricks is playing with the sentiments of Muslims who are majority in Pakistan. The PM does not feel any guilt on his conscience, and he has never been reluctant while turning particular thoughts in support of his ideas. Exploiting the names of Hazrat Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his daughter Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha for his vested political aspirations was only meant for attracting sheer sympathies of the people. The PM has to realize that Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha, the daughter of Hazrat Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a chaste, veiled, modest woman, and above all, the Prophet, peace be upon him, had himself stated that she would be the leader of women in paradise. He not only managed to get the bill passed in support of the army, but also declared it a punishable offense to slam the Gaulish army. Another meaning of this is that the generals of the army, whether an officer or a soldier, is a holy cow and superior than the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. No matter if these military officers conduct any crime, they have now been made immune to accountability. Are the people of Pakistan not well aware of the news that on April 7, 2021, in a meeting of the Standing Committee of the National Assembly, a bill was passed? If any military general, officer or soldier slammed or ridiculed in any manner or way, this would be heinous crime, and the guilty of criticizing them, tarnishing their dignity, or defaming the army would be punished, and the punishment would be imprisonment for a term of up to 2 years or a fine of up to rupees 500,000. In special circumstances, both the punishments might be awarded. Unfortunately, the PM kept his lips glued on rejection and opposing of this bill. Why? The passage of the bill in the meeting of the Standing Committee of the National Assembly means that even if the army generals dissect Pakistan as they did in 1971, and if they violate the Constitution repeatedly, any army chief, while in violation of the Constitution, joins the Saudi military alliance and accepts to lead UAE's security as in charge, or a general buys an island abroad, or a general establishes chains of Papa John abroad, or a general establishes chains of Papa John abroad, or several generals and officers with soldiers, individually or collectively, rape Muslim or non-Muslim women and share their shameful stories while dining in the army mess, they are still immune to criticism. Pakistani army generals, having surrendered to Indian generals, celebrate their defeat in drunken conditions with great shamelessness. They can't be criticized for their heinous crimes against humanity and for picking innocent civilians, unarmed Balochs, Sindhis, Muhajirs, Pashtuns, and people of other communities from their homes and force them to disappear. No matter as how many constitutional petitions the families of the missing persons file in courts of law, this ghoulish military responds to the families in form of mutilated bodies on deserted lands. These perpetrators can't be held accountable. Since the PM has successfully managed to get the bill passed in support of his selectors, any single word that might depict sheer criticism on the ghoulish army of Pakistan is now a serious crime punishable under the law. Now, whom to complain, from where to seek justice?